Is dropshipping a scam? Is it dead? What's my social security number? Hair tutorial? All that and more on this first ever Q&A on this YouTube channel, except for the social security part, of course. Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Biaheza back with another one. Special little video this week, as I'll actually be answering a lot of you guys' questions, both business and personal. I asked you guys on YouTube what you wanted to know. I also put up an Instagram story on my Instagram account at Biaheza. I got a ton of questions on that. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get through all of them, but I did read through most of them, and I kind of chose the ones that I think would be the most beneficial for everybody. So thank you all for submitting them. There's a lot of funny ones on there, so I had a good laugh. Thank you for that. That said, I mean, get comfy. I'm gonna go ahead and go make myself a cup of joe here. We're gonna dive into these questions. Have a great time.
Vibe out.
Oh, and I almost forgot, check out this new drip that came in the mail here. This has been a goal of mine since like middle school, so thank you all so much for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. Again, this has been a goal of mine for years, so this plaque right here. So thank you so much for the subscriptions, for the comments, for the likes. I really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and dive into this first question here, or I should say questions, because this was a highly requested question, and that was people saying in different words, is dropshipping dead? Is it dying? And what's going to happen to dropshipping in the near future? And my opinion on that is that currently dropshipping is definitely not dead as of right now. I mean, I'm making money with it, other people are making money with it, so it's definitely not dead as of right now. However, going forward, I think the only thing that might be possibly at risk is the traditional form of Aliexpress dropshipping. Maybe there's a new law that gets passed that prohibits parts of it, or the agreement that the US has with China that enables cheap shipping from China to the US and kind of allows this arbitrage opportunity to happen. Maybe that goes away, but that's only going to kill the traditional form of Aliexpress dropshipping. If you can dropship directly from China and Aliexpress, you would still be able to do a bulk order of goods from China, import that into a fulfillment center in the US, and run this whole same exact business all from your computer and never touch the product. This version of dropshipping would even allow you to build a more sustainable business, as your shipping times are going to improve. They're going to be faster. You'll have a higher customer satisfaction rate, and you'll have more returning customers, and can build a real sustainable e-commerce business from that. But the downside to that is that the barrier of entry for that business would be a lot higher and more expensive, since right now just about anybody can get into dropshipping. There's not really much upfront cost. However, if you have to do bulk orders, you're gonna have to put up money upfront for the orders. You're gonna have to make sure there's a demand for the product. You're gonna have to pay the fulfillment center. So what I would say is that get into dropshipping right now if you're gonna do it in the next few years. Get in the game, make some money, and then in the future, if Aliexpress dropshipping is no longer an option, you then already have experience in the e-commerce world, and it would be a lot easier for you to transfer into this new version of dropshipping where you ship from the US than it would be if you're just starting from scratch and want to get into that from scratch. But simply put, dropshipping isn't dead. I don't think it's gonna die anytime soon. It's a real e-commerce business, and the people who are telling you that dropshipping is dead are probably just trying to sell you their Amazon FBA course, and that's the tea. Next question is from Bailey Spray Berry. He asks, what made you go all in and know that dropshipping could be a full-time thing? I personally got into dropshipping because in my eyes, the business model is just completely sound. You're essentially just buying something and selling it for more, but I never completely jumped into the business headfirst out of the gate, threw everything, dropped out of everything. I did dropshipping as I was working 2 other jobs and going to school. And once I saw that I was making good money with dropshipping and I was being consistent with it, that's when I finally quit my jobs, quit school, and did that full time. But again, the reason that I got into it in the first place is because the business model is very simple. You find a product, build a store for it, market the store, and sell the product for more. So it's a very to understand business model. However, it is a lot more difficult to actually successfully execute it in practice. I mean, you're starting a real e-commerce business, you're gonna have to do real marketing for it, and that's something that people don't really think about. Think that dropshipping is a get rich quick scheme, and it absolutely isn't. You have to have skills in multiple areas in order to successfully dropship and make good money with it. I mean, 95% of people who start a business, that business will fail, and dropshipping is no exception to that. Most people who try dropshipping will fail. There's probably gonna be people who tell you otherwise, but you gotta understand that they're just trying to sell the dream, and also understand that I personally have a course and make money off teaching people how to dropship. So I'm almost shooting myself in the leg here by saying this. So I mean, not everybody who tries dropshipping is gonna succeed. Can you make good money with dropshipping? Absolutely. I make money with dropshipping, other people do as well. And saying that dropshipping is a scam because somebody didn't make money with it, it's like saying that all businesses are a scam, because again, 95% of all businesses fail. But does that mean you shouldn't try to open up a business? In my opinion, absolutely not. But that's something you have to decide for yourself, because with business comes risk. Next question, how old was I when I started dropshipping and what did my parents think of it? Again, this was also a question that multiple people asked, so I'll put up different people who asked it in different parts of this question. I actually began building my first ever dropshipping store when I was 16, about to turn 17. And as far as what my parents thought of it, I mean, I didn't go around making announcements saying that I'm up next, making big moves. I didn't do all of that. My parents were kind of used to me doing all these kind of hustles and schemes, so it wasn't a surprise to them either. If you watched one of my previous videos where I talk about my full journey with dropshipping, I actually started making money with theme pages before I started making good money with dropshipping. And there was a month when I was 17 and I still had a joint account with my parents, because you got to be 18 to open up your own. So they had complete access to my bank statements. And there was a month when I made like 2,000 off my theme pages, and then I was working 2 other jobs, so I ended up getting like 5,000 or 6,000 that month in total with everything that I was doing. So that kind of got my dad to be like, yo dog, what you been up to? Where's this money coming from? But again, it wasn't too much of a surprise for my parents, because they could see how much I was working, so it wasn't an out of nowhere type thing. But then the month after the month I just talked about, that was actually the month that followed, was my first ever big month with dropshipping, and I have videos of me talking about this month. I think I actually have 2. One of my first YouTube videos was about that, and my parents were very supportive of that, which was great, because I wasn't 18 yet, so I had to register everything under a parent, all the businesses, the banking. So it was nice that they were supportive and they let me register everything under the name, so huge shout out to them for that. The biggest concern my parents had was the whole tax situation with all this new money coming in, but we arranged that to be done with some tax professionals, so that worked out well. Also say what's up to my mom in the comments, she reads a lot of those, so say hello. But moving on, next question, this one was also frequently asked, and it was my thoughts on college. Am I in college? Did I drop out? What's my college situation? I personally did a full year at a California State University before leaving, so I guess technically at this point I'm a dropout, but I absolutely don't have anything against college. I think it's a great idea for a lot of people. If you're going there for a major that's going to result in a stable job, I'm all for it. People in the YouTube entrepreneur space love to hate on college, and personally I wouldn't buy into any of that. I think it's a great idea for a lot of people, and it doesn't mean that you can't do something in the entrepreneur space. You can go to college, do something on the side, and if that ends up taking off, then go ahead and drop out of college and do that full time. People also love to bring up that so many billionaires don't have a college degree, but they don't really talk about the fact that those billionaires were in college. For example, Bill Gates, he was in college for 2 years. He was in Harvard for 2 years before dropping out. And once he had an idea, once he had a product, that's when he went ahead and decided to drop out and put all of his attention into that. With my personal situation, once I started making some money with dropshipping and I was in college, I first waited to see if it was sustainable, if I could repeat the results. And then I got to the point where I sat down and thought about it. And I thought of a number that I said, okay, if I hit this number, this amount of dollars in profit in a single month, then I'll drop out. And it was high enough to where I didn't think I'd ever actually hit it, but life's crazy like that, and that's how I ended up leaving college, because I ended up hitting that number. So those are kind of my thoughts on college. I'm not against it. Just because you're in college doesn't mean you can't participate in side hustles and start a business on the side. So I'm not buying into any of that F college type of talk, but that said, I also wouldn't recommend that somebody goes into $50,000 worth of debt only to get an art degree. I'm for college when it results in a career and a stable job that somebody's interested in, which college and a lot of trade schools can do for you. But next question, former president Mr. Barack says, okay, but this man is speaking straight facts though. Next question, this one was also very popular. I wasn't sure if I wanted to reveal this top secret info, but there was a really strong demand for it, so I guess I will. And that's, how do I get this mop vibe going with my hair? And it's really funny how people are really split on this whole situation I have going with my hair. Some people constantly roast me in the comments for it, which I think is funny. I don't take offense to, but some people really vibe with it. But all I'll say is that I don't plan on changing it anytime soon. But for those of you who are interested, I'm going to take 5 seconds and show you guys how this works. Okay, so this video is not sponsored, but this is the hair product that I use. It's got to be glued, and it's the yellow bottle. My hair natural is actually completely straight, but right after I shower and my hair is all wet, I'll put this in. I'll just rub it everywhere. Then once it dries off, but it's still kind of damp, I go in with more of this hair product, and I do this motion right here. I put my hand with this gel into my hair, and then I bring it back like this, so it's kind of like this motion here, and then I keep doing that until it looks like this. I'm not sure how the science behind it works, because I naturally have straight hair, but I don't know, it just works, and that's what I do. Oh, and one more thing, that stuff's basically Elmer's glue. It's in, I don't know what they put in it, but I'm not responsible for anything happens if you use that product. Next question, multiple people asked this. It was, what keeps me motivated? And honestly, when it comes to business at this point, it's not really the money that motivates me, it's the freedom that comes with earning money and working for yourself. I mean, I can just wake up and lay in bed all day tomorrow, or I can go send a full day surf trip, and I don't have to worry about it because I'm still making money. It's also the peace of mind. I don't have to worry about paying extra for guac at Chipotle or making rent. So for me, money isn't about living in luxury. That's not my motivation. It's about the peace of mind and freedom that it brings, and I think ultimately that can lead to a more fulfilling life. And on the topic of fulfillment, you guys also asked questions about religion and does money buy happiness? So you all got deep on this, and I thought that'd be fun to get into. I'm personally a man of faith. I believe in God and in creation, and I think that money will never ultimately bring you true fulfillment. And I'm glad I ran into some money at a young age, because I think that ultimately that's really going to change the trajectory of my life. Hear me out on this, but there's basically a theory called the hedonic treadmill, and it states that despite major negative or positive changes in a person's life, they always return to a relatively stable general level of happiness, which means that no matter how much money you make, what kind of car you're going to buy, or what kind of promotion you get, or what you achieve, you're always going to return to the same general level of happiness. And if that's the case, what's the point of all of this, right? Which is why I think all of this earth and universe stuff is no accident, and the only place you can get true fulfillment from is faith in God, and money won't really ever bring you that. But next question, would I recommend moving to California? I mean, if you like paying a ton of money in taxes, you're into forest fires, you're into traffic, then slide on through, baby. This next question was a good one, and it relates to dropshipping, and it was my thoughts on general store versus niche store versus single product store when it comes to dropshipping stores. In my opinion, general stores are no good. You don't want to be selling beauty products and car products on the same store. At that point, you're competing with Amazon, and it usually doesn't work out too well. Niche stores are great. I think they work out very well. One of my current running stores is a niche store, and it's good for multiple reasons. You can constantly test new products in your niche and swap out new products, so you get the flexibility of a general store. However, because it's a niche store and it's in one niche, you could also kind of get some of the conversion rate benefits of a one product store. As far as the one product dropshipping stores, I also think they're great. You can make a ton of money with it, and this is where your conversion rates are usually going to be the highest, but you also want to make sure that you have a really good product if you're going to get into this. I think if you're just starting out, niche stores might be the move, but if you already have a good product in mind that you're sure is going to sell, then a single product is probably the best bet. Got a course question here from Peter. He says, I got your course and love it. Will it be changed / modified in the future though? And my answer to that is yes. The course is almost kind of like a work in progress. I dropped the course with enough information to where I think it's enough for you to start a successful dropshipping business, and I explain everything that I do. But as time goes on, I definitely plan on uploading new content on there that I can't release publicly on YouTube. So if you're inside of the course, I would check back in at least once a month to see if there's any new content in there. But yeah, apart from the new content, I'll also probably go in, and once I get feedback on some of this stuff, I'll elaborate further on things that people want elaboration on, and I'll kind of go into more details on that. So yeah, the course will definitely, I plan on updating it. This one right here is a good one. Do I come from a wealthy background, and did that help me in business? And the answer to that is definitely not. I grew up in apartment complexes most of my life in the not so nice part of town, so there was none of that trust fund baby action going on with me. And going back to the question, I think it's kind of the opposite. The fact that I didn't come from a wealthy family is what kind of motivated me to get into business and whatnot. If I came from a wealthy background, I don't think I'd have the motivation to start this stuff and keep it going. The next question, what were my grades in high school? I actually tried in high school. I put in some work, so I ended up graduating with like a 4.05 GPA, but that's also because I took a bunch of BS, PE, advanced PE, weight training, and art classes, so those weren't very difficult to get an A in. I straight up had semesters where I would spend half of the day painting and making clay sculptures and working out and doing advanced PE. So I mean, I feel like the US high school system is kind of easy to finesse, since I still ended up graduating a year early and getting into a California State University right away. So I think that unless you're trying to get into like a top dream school, you don't really have to stress high school too much. Okay, this one right here might be a little controversial, but what do I think of Gary Vee? First of all, let me put it out there. I'm a Gary Vee fan. I think he spits facts, but to an extent, some of the advice he gives out is really dangerous. I saw a video of him the other day on Instagram where he was talking at some kind of conference, and there was a teenager that asked him if he should drop out of high school because he made $4,000 in 1 month off of theme pages, and Gary Vee was like, yeah, go ahead. And personally, I don't think that kind of stuff is a good idea. Maybe out of college, if you made $4,000 off of a theme page, I can understand why he would say drop out of college, but out of high school, I don't know if that really passes my vibe check. Other than the super extreme stuff that he says, I think he's pretty good. He's a good thing that happened to the entrepreneurial space, but I also wouldn't take his advice as gospel. Neither should you take mine. Do your own research and be cautious out there. Somebody says do a face reveal. I don't know about that one. Still kind of nervous about it, but I don't know. Maybe if you smash that like button right now, in the next one I might do a face reveal. We'll see. Do I speak Russian? Да, привет, как делишки? Меня зовут Biaheza, я говорю по-русски. Do I speak Spanish? Hola, me llamo Biaheza. ¿Y tú? No, I'm just kidding. I don't speak Spanish, but I do speak Russian. A true intellectual asks if I'm a toes or thighs type of guy, and I mean, I don't really understand this question since I obviously only see personality. But there's a ton of other funny and solid questions out there, but I don't want to drag this video out for too long, so we're gonna leave off on this question. Not the toes one, but this one that I'm about to say, which is, what are my future plans? There's a few people asking about that. If we're talking years and years, a really long-term plan is to invest a lot of the money that I make through e-commerce and YouTube into real estate, rent those properties out and live off of rental properties and kind of retire of that. If we're talking the next few years, I definitely plan on staying in the e-commerce business. It's something that I enjoy. I like the marketing aspect of it. And if AliExpress dropshipping dries out or something happens to that, that's not really a problem, since you learn a lot about running a business when you do dropshipping, and you can kind of transfer into a different type of e-commerce business if dropshipping through AliExpress is no longer an option. But as far as YouTube goes, this is something I definitely want to continue doing, since it's something that I enjoy probably the most out of the businesses and the things that I do, since I like creating the videos and I like the editing aspect of it. So I definitely want to continue doing this. But I think that about wraps up this Q&A session. Thank you all for submitting the comments, for all the support, for all the subscriptions. I really do appreciate it. And also let me know if you enjoyed this video, if I should do more Q&As in the future. And if you want, you can even drop some questions in the comments of this video, and I might put those questions in the next video if you guys like this one. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.